Look, I know not everyone watches these small reviews. You're here for the big stuff, the blockbusters, but these have been some of the best movies of the year, and the Banshees of Inisherin, it fits right in that category. What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Martin McDonagh has a brand new film, The Banshees of Inisherin. We are going to talk about this movie and how it made me emotional in a way that I did not expect once it was over. Spoiler-free review, let's get into it. Two lifelong friends find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly ends their relationship, with alarming consequences for both characters, and these characters are played by Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. This movie is rated R for language throughout, some violent content, and brief graphic nudity. You know, it may not seem like a movie that the violent content's going to impact you on another level, but there is one or two scenes in here. There are one or two scenes in here, grammar, that just kind of shocked me with how violent they actually were, and it may not even be what you're expecting, but you have to watch the movie to find out. And all of this is surrounding their relationship. Two amazing actors. Brendan Gleeson giving one of the best performances I've seen from him in a long time. Every scene, a very subtle character, someone who really doesn't want to talk all that much, makes that very obvious at the beginning of the movie, absolutely crushes it. But Colin Farrell has already given multiple amazing performances this year. This, to me, stands above the rest, not only because he completely nails the personality of this character, someone who lives and thrives almost solely through the idea of being nice. He sees himself as a nice guy. He sees himself as someone who is very personable and can hold an easy conversation with essentially anyone in town. But Gleeson plays a character that, well, he thought was his best friend at the beginning of this movie, but one day he walks into this bar and he doesn't really want to talk to him anymore. And the idea of the movie, and really the goal of this film as a viewer, you're trying to find out, well, why doesn't he want to talk to him anymore? And then when you find out the actual reason, this friendship, or lack thereof, takes it a step further, and it becomes kind of this series of confrontations between the two, and it's almost like this little civil war brewing, and the townspeople, all of these really quirky characters that have a great sense of humor all throughout the movie, they're either leaning towards one side or the other, but no one's really picking sides. Everyone in town either doesn't like both characters, does like both characters, or prefers one to the other. Regardless, it's all about how they feel about each other. Of course, Colin Farrell's Padraic, he does have a sister played by Kerry Condon, Siobhan, who is that rock that he has firmly at the beginning, is going to try her best to get him through anything, but she acknowledges that, yes, my brother is nice, but he's not the smartest guy in town. He's not someone that's going to hold a witty and or brilliant conversation. He's someone who is just there to have a fun time with, and that's the type of character that he is. In Gleeson's Colm, it's not like he resents the friendship that they had, but he does have his reasoning behind why he doesn't want to be friends going forward. So what a fascinating concept. I was just ready to be swept away by Martin McDonagh's dialogue, by his ability to show off his directing chops, his writing chops. You know the script's going to be good, and it is. It serves every character. All of these little supporting players. David Pierce Priest, Sheila Flitton, who plays Mrs. McCormick, Pat Short. There are so many great character actors that play these, very memorable. Maybe they only have one or two lines in the movie, but they're so memorable because the quirkiness of the dialogue. Yes, it's a dark concept, and the movie itself, and there's this bleakness to it and this emptiness to it, especially when you get towards the end, and that emptiness will leave you feeling emotional, and I didn't know what to feel at the end of this movie. We'll talk more about it in a second, but those supporting characters are great. Keoghan, who plays Dominic, I love Barry as an actor. He's had that really thick Irish accent before, but he's able to just kind of fall into that in this film, and that Irish accent may cause trouble for some people watching. Like, there were moments in this movie to where I could have used captions because I couldn't really tell exactly what they were saying, and then there's phrases that are used, and hopefully YouTube doesn't get me for this. They say feckin' a lot, and you could probably figure out what that actually means, but also phrases to where you don't know what they're talking about at first, but as you go, you get context, and you're like, oh, okay, so you're able to put these things together in your head, and a lot of those words They'll make you laugh, they'll make you smile. I was grinning all throughout this movie until I wasn't, because there is this, like I said, bleakness to the third act that just makes you feel some type of way. And the way this movie ends, I can't sit here and say I was fully satisfied with. There is something about the abruptness of this ending that slightly bothered me, and I did feel as if we should have gotten more, or maybe even less, than what we actually got. But other than the way it leaves off, I don't have a lot of complaints with the script and with the quirkiness mixed with that bleakness. And then you have the visuals. I mean, the sets, the locations, the cinematography, all of this is absolutely gorgeous. You see the use of gorgeous camera movements to capture the landscape that they are in front of. And oh my God, that makes a world of a difference with a movie like this. Combine that with a fascinating story and just trying to figure out as a viewer, why doesn't he want to be friends with him anymore? And if you are someone who has a close friend or who had a close friend that maybe you're not as close to anymore, this could hit you in a different kind of way. It definitely did me. So before I give you my score, how did you feel about the Banshees of Inisherin? Is this a movie you want to see? Do you like Martin McDonagh as a director? What is your favorite movie of his, and how would you rank his filmography? Also, if you enjoyed this review and you want to see more like it, drop that like down below. It helps this channel. Beautifully shot and directed, The Banshees of Inisherin combines a quirky sense of humor with a bleak story in a fascinating way. The ending may not satisfy everyone, but the journey is compelling and heartfelt, and I'm giving this journey a 90%. I loved this film, right? It doesn't have all of the elements that made some of his other movies great, but this feels like a distinctly different film, and one that kind of takes its time to build this dispute between these two characters, and I loved that. Come back soon for more reviews, and thanks again for watching.